If you felt like someone was looking at you the wrong way, what would you do? A. Question the person? B. Ignore it and go about your day? Or C. Keep it in mind and start a rap beef with them? Well, if you're anything like Rick Ross, then your answer just might be C. Miami, Florida rapper Rick Ross started a long-lasting beef with Queens native 50 Cent, allegedly over a perceived look that 50 had given Ross at the BET Awards back in 2008. Ever since then, there's been friction between the two. However, like I mentioned in my 50 Cent vs. Cam'ron video, 50 did mention Rick Ross on a track he had dissing Cam'ron, that being Funeral Music, released in 2007, with the line, "You must ain't hear me, I done told you I'm a boss, I'm eating good but I ain't chubby like Ricky Ross." It might not be a diss at all, but it is the first time Rick Ross was mentioned by 50 on a song as far as I know, and this was before Ross really got big, as by that point he had only released his debut album, Port of Miami, back in 2006. Anyways, following the alleged BET look, Ross released the song Mafia Music in January of 2009, which featured a line taking shots at 50. That being, "I love to pay your bills, can't wait to pay your rent. Curtis Jackson baby mama, I ain't asking for a cent. Burn the house down nigga, you gotta buy another. Don't forget the gas can, jealous stupid motherfucker." Which is a reference to the May 2008 house fire of 50 Cent's Long Island home in which ex-girlfriend Shaniqua and their son Marquise were staying. Ross alleges that 50 set fire to the house himself, which is what Shaniqua had claimed. However, 50 was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing in the house fire. According to 50, Shaniqua was ordered to leave the house just days before the fire happened, essentially implying that she did it herself due to not being allowed to stay there any longer. Just days later, 50 Cent came back with the track Officer Ricky, which is titled after the fact that Rick Ross used to be a correctional officer before he got big in rap. Numerous shots are thrown at Ross, like calling him fat and calling him a police officer throughout the song, but 50 also throws shots at Foxy Brown, DJ Khaled, and Lil Wayne as well. Foxy Brown had a relationship briefly with Ross, so it seems she got caught in the crossfire. The same with DJ Khaled, as he and Ross have worked together on several of Khaled's albums. In fact, the DJ Khaled song is one of the first times I ever heard Rick Ross on a record. Given their close affiliation, I'm not surprised 50 took a shot at him too. The outro, 50 dedicated to Lil Wayne, because back in 2008, in an interview, Lil Wayne was asked about who he would like to do a song with that he hasn't yet, and he essentially stated that Eminem was afraid to get on a song with him. On the outro, 50 states that Wayne has to get past him in order to get to Eminem. One thing that's been pretty consistent in 50's career is defending Eminem. Funny enough, they would wind up on the same song in 2009 on the track Over, along with Drake and Kanye West. 50 also released a series of animated videos dissing Rick Ross as well, titled Officer Ricky. Various situations are depicted, like Chris Brown and Rihanna's fight, and Rick Ross is depicted as the police officer that arrests Chris, along with Ross arresting other people like Suge Knight, T.I., and DMX. People cool with Ross like DJ Khaled and Lil Wayne are depicted as well in the video, once again taking shots at Ross and friends. The episodes were released on about a weekly basis throughout this time. 50 also released a video talking about Ross and sending him a warning about the beef he's gotten into, letting him know that he's found information on him and that he's gonna ruin his life, and also sends another shot at DJ Khaled while he's at it. He also mentions not remembering seeing Rick Ross at the BET Awards like Ross had mentioned. The funniest part of the video is towards the end, a police car is heard and 50 says that Ross's friends are outside and goes over to look out the window and sees a cop car. This once again being a reference to the fact that it was recently exposed that Ross used to be a CO, which is something that Ross would deny at first until later on admitting it. 50 was quick to follow up to his warning as he flew Ross's son's mother up to New York to give an interview for the website This Is 50, where she talked about things such as the fact that Ross indeed worked as a CO, his cars being leased, and his jewelry being rented and possibly fake as well. 50 then took her shopping and supposedly did other things as well, not shown in the video. Also during the video, 50 mentions that Ross's ex-girlfriend Brooke is a call girl, once again using Ross's taste in women to try to diss him. G-Unit affiliate Nice the Future also jumped in to throw shots at Rick Ross along with Fat Joe with the track Respect the Gang, in which he uses the beat from Fat Joe's track Winding on Me from his album Jealous Ones Still Envy Part 2. It has plenty of shots at Ross's weight and his former job as a CO. Rick Ross responded shortly afterwards with the diss track Kiss My Pinky Ring Curly, rapping over the beat for G-Dep's song Special Delivery. This would be the start of the whole Curly thing regarding 50 Cent, which is a play on his first name, Curtis, like Cam'ron did back when they were beefing. On the track, Ross takes shots at 50 Cent, calling him gay and a monkey several times. If it was just a joke or something, I get it, but if Ross really thinks that lyrically this came hard, then I don't know what to say. In the intro, however, he mentions his then upcoming album, Deeper Than Rap, and then mentions it again on the outro, so if promotion was the purpose, then it makes sense. One line that does stand out, however, is where Ross says that he heard Lloyd Banks is the one that wrote the chorus for 50's hit single, In the Club, which is somewhat true, as people like Shaw Money XL and Bang with Smurf would state in interviews that 50 did indeed get the chorus from lyrics that Banks wrote. Sometime shortly after this, 50 Cent started releasing episodes of a new series titled Pimpin' Curly, where he takes on the persona of Curly, a pimp with a curly wig. Around this time, a website was made named thisiscurly.com, which was apparently a website by Rick Ross's camp to diss 50 and promote Ross's upcoming album. The website has been long since taken down, but apparently it featured an image of a monkey with 50's son's head photoshopped on it. In response to this, G-Unit came back with the track I'll Be the Shooter. As you could guess from the title, 50, Banks, and Yayo spit plenty of gun bars aimed at Ross and make references again to him being a cop. Bank opens up his verse with the line, "It's been deeper than rap. I eat shit, go to sleep with my gat. It's us three against the industry, let's keep it like that." That being a reference to the Rick Ross album that he was promoting, and the fact that G-Unit has had beef with several high-profile artists in the rap game like Murder Inc., The Lox, and now Rick Ross, among others. Also, the video for the song serves as promotion for the video game Blood in the Sand, which is the sequel to the first 50 Cent video game, Bulletproof, as video game clips are included in the video and the game released later that month. Shortly afterwards, Rick Ross released another diss towards 50 Cent titled Push Him Over, which was a freestyle over the beat to Juice, Know the Ledge by Eric B. and Rakim from the Juice soundtrack and their fourth and final studio album, Don't Sweat the Technique. On the freestyle, Rick Ross calls 50 Cent a monkey, gay, and claims that he snitched on Supreme. He then goes on to diss Lloyd Banks and claim that there's a sex tape between Banks and his assistant, which is one of the weirder claims in this beef. By no means a standout track in this beef, but it's still better than what some other ones have devolved into these days. 50 responded with the track, Tia Told Me. The Tia, of course, being Rick Ross's baby mother. With a Jackson 5 sample and catchy chorus, 50 goes in on Ross, attacking his drug kingpin persona with lines like, "Wait, let me tell you what your baby told me. You ain't got a street bone in your whole body. You're not who you think you are. With your gun and your badge, you think you're hard. Acting like you're moving, blowing the streets. Nigga, where I'm from, we gotta hustle to eat. And you the police." Then in the second verse, he adds Fat Joe and DJ Khaled into the mix as well with the lines, "Shut the fuck up, we don't wanna hear your mafia tough talk. That fake fuckboy shit don't fly in New York. You wanna listen to Joe? You wanna listen to Khaled? Fine, I'll just fuck everybody up while I'm at it. First it's we the best, then it's we depressed. After this shit flop, they're like, damn, we stressed. We a mess. He's not the nigga to test. It's 90 degrees out here and we gotta wear a vest." Probably one of my favorite diss tracks from the whole beef. Also, Lloyd Banks released his own diss track at Ross titled Officer Down, following 50 with the whole officer thing. Throughout this track, Lloyd has this immaculate flow that he uses to just tear through Ross. One of my favorite lines being, "He making money while we making money too. Whoop-de-doo, we'll be here long after he disappeared, this is proof." Going at Ross for his consistent money talk in his rhymes and saying that he won't be around long in the industry. The latter, however, was proven to be untrue since Ross is still here putting out music and G-Unit has been pretty inconsistent since then. And another line being, 30 cities, 30 shooters, we're like the NBA. Pretty self-explanatory, that one. He also mentions Freeway Ricky Ross, the drug kingpin that the rapper Rick Ross got his stage name from. Banks ends his verse with the lines, "In this market they let impersonators walk around. 50 bodied you, I just laid the chalk down." Obviously a reference to the Officer Ricky diss track. Banks also went at Ross again on the track Shut Your Blood Clot Mouth Part 2, which was also featured on the same mixtape, 43009, which was a mixtape Banks released for his birthday. On the track, he raps over the beat for Ready by the rap duo NYGs. In response to 50's Officer Ricky animation series, Ross had a video of his own, The Gay Unit Workout, which, as the title implies, depicts 50, Banks, and Yayo in the gym working out, and some homoerotic activity occurs to say the least. Topping off with Yayo mentioning Rick Ross releasing his new song Magnificent featuring John Legend, which was the first single from Ross's then upcoming album Deeper Than Rap. The video was pretty funny and not only dissed G-Unit, but also served as promotion for his new album again. As I mentioned previously, 50 had it out for DJ Khaled too, not just Ross. In the midst of the diss tracks back and forth, 50 released another video, this one aimed at Khaled. He recites a poem he wrote titled, "A Psychic Told Me," which has 50 implying threats towards DJ Khaled and his mother. For example, stating he knows that Khaled's car tires were slashed and he knows where he lives and mentions knowing where his mother works as well. The video shows a woman sleeping who is allegedly Khaled's mother at her job. The rumor circulated that it was French Montana, who was an associate of Khaled's, that recorded it, which would make sense given their relationship. However, French Montana and DJ Khaled would both deny these claims when asked about it later on in interviews.
I'm asking you this.
Of course.
We had 50 Cent in the neighborhood.
Yep.
And years ago when 50 had that video of Khaled's mom at work,
Yep.
50, when he came to the neighborhood, he said that you were the one that shot that video for him because y'all was down and you brought it to the office, and that was your camera work. Is there any truth to that?
I mean, I answered it before. It's just like, how does success feel? How does having #1's records feel? How does being the hottest new dog on the block feel? That's the problem. They can't take that.
But 50 would state that it was indeed French that recorded and gave him the footage.
They could give me some information, like who is it? Like who is he? And you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Khaled tape.
Right.
Okay.
I had all of it. They were staying in Atlanta. All of the locations. Because I ain't taking no L's. You can trust me. You do something, we're going to do it live. Hey, I'm not even going to hide it.
So when you say that Frenchie had the tape, that was him taping?
French Montana, yeah.
Khaled's mom's house.
Right.
Ross came back with another diss track as well as former G-Unit associate Bang'em Smurf, who fell out with 50. Bang'em Smurf goes in on 50 and sends a shot to Yayo and Banks as well. After he stops rapping, he goes on this rant dissing the crew, saying 50 never knew how to dress and couldn't get girls. Apparently Tony Yayo was in an abusive relationship getting beat by his woman, and claims that Banks never been in a fight in his life. Who started the whole doing a bunch of talking on the outro of diss tracks? I guess Bang'em was channeling his inner Tupac. Ross on his verse calls 50 a slime ball for speaking to his baby mother Tia, and proceeds to mention playing weed with 50's son Marquise in return. Overall, not a bad move to connect with yet another person that has issues with 50. Around this time, Ross also did a freestyle over the beat for Jamie Foxx's Blame It on the Alcohol and took shots at G-Unit and mentions Shaniqua again, as well as mentions Sierra, who at the time 50 Cent was dating. Tony Yayo came with his own diss track as well, titled Somebody Snitched, and just like 50 did, he refers to Ross as Officer Ricky in this track as well, and even starts his verse with the lines, "Yeah, I never had drama with the cops, but I Larry Davis Rick Ross ass with the Glock," and sends a shot at Ja Rule and Khaled as well. Also on the skit, Rick Ross Ain't Real, which is on the Swine Flu mixtape, like the previous track, Ross was dissed as well. Yayo also makes mention to Ross on the track Do Rag to a Ski Mask, also from that same mixtape. You know how 50 Cent talked about Ross's baby mother Tia? Well, he's done the same with Ross's other baby mother, Lastonia. He released a trailer of a sex tape featuring Lastonia, then later on released a full video which includes 50 dubbing over parts of the video, adding commentary to it. This act would come to bite 50 later on, but we'll be getting to that shortly. Ross's third album, Deeper Than Rap, was due for release in March, according to his mentioning of it during the diss tracks, but it didn't get released until April. Around this time, he also released the track Mafia Music Remix, which features other people 50 Cent was beefing with, that being The Game, Fat Joe, and Ja Rule. Each rapper takes a shot at 50 Cent. Game on the first verse starts his off with the line, "Who stacked cheddar better than a rat killer?" which is a reference to 50 Cent being a snitch, another typical shot to throw at 50. Ja Rule spends most of his verse making references to 50, such as the fact that they got into physical altercations twice, which Ja Rule claims himself as the winner of. More detail on that is in my 50 Cent vs. Ja Rule video, so make sure to check that one out after this if you haven't done so yet. Fat Joe on his verse sends shots at G-Unit and makes references to physical altercations with both DJ Whoo Kid as well as Chris Lighty. He also makes mention of 50 Cent getting his chain snatched while on stage in Africa back in 2008. Ross in his verse mentions Shaniqua and her oral skills and mentions 50's son again. This beef got pretty disrespectful on both sides with the mentions of family, especially the kids. He then released the song In Cold Blood, which on the video, a funeral for 50 Cent takes place. Essentially, Ross claiming to have killed his career, which he would claim to do several times throughout the beef. I think it's kind of funny how Ross used both his intro and outro track videos from the album The Diss 50, Mafia Music and In Cold Blood. Shortly after the release of Deeper Than Rap, Rick Ross did a video talking about the release of the album and spoke about 50 Cent and the whole monkey term, and proceeds to call Eminem a honky, as well as addressing DJ Whoo Kid, saying that his own DJ is paid way more than Whoo Kid, and he should basically reach out to him. Once again, taking shots at the whole group pretty much. Shortly afterwards, Tia released her tell-all book, Tia's Diary, Deeper Than Rap, Clarity, Truth, and Exposure, in which she talks about her life, of course, including her relationship with Rick Ross. Tony Yayo then came back with the disses as well on Swine Flu 2 on the tracks Going In, Vest, and Playoff 2. Gunplay, a member of Triple C's, Ross's rap group, also released a diss track to 50 and G-Unit as well. On the track he mentions things like 50's chain getting snatched, just like Fat Joe did, and also calls them monkeys as well, and even promotes Ross's upcoming album, Deeper Than Rap. A lot of things happened over a short period of time, but the beef quieted down for a while. I guess since Ross's album and 50's new game had released, they didn't have much to promote at the time. However, later that year, 50 did drop his fourth album, Before I Self-Destruct, and Rick Ross did a freestyle over the beat from the lead single, Baby by Me, which of course he sent a shot at 50 once again on it. A few months afterwards, 50 Cent heightened the tension again by taking Ross's kids and baby mother to professional boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s mansion, and of course taking pictures and videos to antagonize Ross. Also, probably unrelated, but in 2010, Jay Ton, apparently the younger brother of Texas rapper Trae tha Truth, released the album Get It by the Ton, which features the track Whitney and Bobby, which features Young Buck and Rick Ross. Now this would seem pretty disloyal of Buck, but at this time, he was already out of G-Unit. However, he did rejoin the group a few years later. Perhaps this was another shot from Ross, also at 50, by being on a song together with one of his former group mates. In February 2010, Lastonia, the woman from the sex tape, filed a lawsuit against 50 for using her image in the sex tape without her permission. In the sex tape, the man she's having sex with has a blurred face, so you can't tell his identity. However, her face was completely recognizable. Of course, if it wasn't, then what would have been the point of him releasing the tape to try to mess with Ross? Then in October of 2011, Ross had 2 seizures on the same day and was taken to a hospital. 50, when asked about it, essentially stated that he doesn't wish death on Ross and that he needs to take better care of himself. Things seemed a little bit more calmed down now, as when Ross was speaking in an interview about the seizures in response from 50, he said that if it was indeed genuine, then he appreciates it and thanks 50. So you might think that things were pretty cool between the two. However, that next year at the 2012 BET Awards, 50's entourage jumped Gunplay and apparently snatched his chain, as shortly afterwards, 50 was seen at a bowling alley wearing an MMG chain. Also in the video for the song Major Distribution by 50 Cent featuring Snoop Dogg and Young Jeezy, a kid in the video can be seen wearing the MMG chain. Another shot at Rick Ross and his crew, and on top of that, at this time Jeezy and Ross had beef as well, as they had an altercation at the BET Awards also, which I've mentioned in my Gucci Mane vs Jeezy beef video. Then in January of 2013, Rick Ross's car was shot at while he was with his girlfriend, and the car wound up crashing when they were trying to get away. 50 responded to this by saying that he thinks the whole thing was staged. Shortly afterwards, during an interview with Sway, Meek Mill, who is signed to MMG, was asked about squashing the beef between 50 and Ross, and he replied by saying that he's known 50 even before he signed with Ross, but he would like to get them to talk things out if he can.
You know what they got going on, man. They grown men, man. They're going on for a long time. If I could, I would. I knew 50 before I ever even got signed with Ross. So, you know, when I signed with Ross, it was on it. I couldn't just act like I don't like 50 at all. You know what I'm saying? That'd be fake of me. So, You know what I'm saying? If I could, I would. You know, I don't like saying nobody I know go through anything, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be in the middle one day and you got to choose sides or anything like that.
Slight jabs were thrown left and right on social media sites like Twitter and Instagram, as well as interviews and, of course, legal issues. Fast forward to 2015, and 50 tries to sue Rick Ross, claiming that Ross is the one that put the sex tape out and that he just basically shared it. So if there's money to be paid in the lawsuit between her and him, that Ross should cover most of the damage. 50 did indeed lose the lawsuit with Listonia and was ordered to pay $5 million for damages. Perhaps in one of the more ironic situations, Rick Ross appeared on a remix of the track Wingstop with Filthy Rich and Yowda. On his verse, he sends shots at 50 with the lines, 50 financial woes, I never speak of them. Years ago, Pimpin' Curly, we know we eased them. At the Mayweather fight, I got my gun tucked. Second row, I'm gonna smiling just like I'm Young Buck. The financial woe is likely being a reference to the fact that by this point, 50 had lost the lawsuit with Ross's baby mother and had to pay back millions. Because of this, 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy. That would be yet again another thing that Ross would use as ammo in interviews to diss 50 as well. Rick Ross's main attack would be 50's financial status, and 50 would continue to respond with various tweets and Instagram posts. Even more lawsuits would be popping up soon, however, as in November of 2015, Rick Ross released the mixtape Renzel Remixes, which, as you can guess, has him rapping over the beats for a bunch of popular tracks. One of those being the classic 50 hit, In the Club. Then in December 2015, Ross released his 8th album, Black Market. 50 would clown Ross for having low album sales, and he also filed a lawsuit against Ross for using the beat to In the Club without his permission. A few months later, Gunplay would come back with a slight jab at 50 on his remix of the Young Greatness track, Moolah, with the line, play if you want, fuck 50 cents cause we dying for less. A quick and easy diss at the longtime opponent. Speaking of Gunplay, he also sent another one of those slight jabs at 50 a couple years prior on his Hot Nigga freestyle. Then during a 2016 Rolling Stones interview, Rick Ross stated that he is the biggest L that 50 has ever taken. 50 then quickly responded on Instagram regarding the comment. What do you think though? Is Ross the biggest loss 50 has taken in his career? The usual social media jabs went back and forth for a while still, and in 2018 a court ruled in favor of Rick Ross with a lawsuit regarding the usage of In the Club on Ross's Renzel Remixes mixtape. The court found that 50 Cent did not own the masters to the song, so he was not within legal rights to file a claim, and that it was owned by Shady Records Aftermath. Then in August of 2020, the appeal that 50 had filed regarding the lawsuit was again decided in Ross's favor. Essentially, Shady Records Aftermath could file a lawsuit against Ross and be more likely to win it. Also earlier that year, 50 filed yet another lawsuit, this time against his own lawyers regarding the case with Listonia and the sex tape. According to 50, they did not do their best to defend him properly. So as you can see, this beef is one that started off with plenty of songs and videos, then transformed into several lawsuits, bankruptcy, and social media posts back and forth. I can't name many rap beefs that had lawsuits going back and forth like this. My personal take on this beef is that musically, 50 Cent and G-Unit won. Yeah, there was a lot of shots about Ross's weight, but the information that 50 got about him being a CEO on top of the stuff with Tia gave him an edge on things to use against Ross. Ross and crew didn't have much to come back with in the music. However, where Ross did shine was with his business endeavors, like Ross owning several Wingstop locations, and MMG with successful artists like Meek Mill and Wale. Also winning that lawsuit 50 filed against him about his usage of the In the Club beat. As I said before, this beef got real disrespectful. Things even got physical with the whole Gunplay situation, but thankfully no one was harmed too badly from it. One thing I do like about it though is that it was pretty straightforward and not heavy on subliminal disses like some other rap beefs go. Even now, they still trade barbs back and forth occasionally online. What do you think about the beef? Let me know in the comment section below, and remember to click the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, join the Discord server to talk with myself and others about rap, and of course become a channel member as well if you want to unlock various perks and support the channel further.